You don't need a six-figure salary to achieve financial freedom. In fact, some of the most financially secure people I know don't earn those massive six-figure salaries. They have just mastered the secret to let their money work for them. By following the basic steps, which I will outline in this video for the coming 6 months, will completely transform your life. Following these steps will allow you to go from paycheck to paycheck living to building real wealth. Okay, let's begin. Month number 1 is to understand what the ostrich effect is. The ostrich effect is when you have a psychological bias. When people actively avoid information that makes them comfortable, especially when it comes to money. Think about it. Have you ever delayed checking your bank account after a weekend full of shopping or partying? Or ignored checking your credit card statement just because you didn't want to see the spendings that you have made? Now that is what is known as the ostrich effect. Our brains think that somehow if we don't look at it, the problem will go away. But that is of course far from the truth. Avoiding your finances actually makes things worse. In month 1, you need to face your finances head on. You need to understand 3 very important numbers, and those numbers are firstly your net income, your expenses, and what your savings percentage will be at the end of the month. There are certain calculations you need to make to get those numbers. Let's break it down. We will add all these numbers into an Excel sheet, which will make things a lot easier to work with. And if you're interested in having this sheet, then please let me know down in the comment section and I'll leave a link to it for absolutely free. To get your net income, you need to take your gross income, which is the amount you get paid before being taxed, and then subtract what you pay in taxes and what you contribute into your pension fund, along with any other expenses you have before the money actually arrives in your bank account. That will be your net income, the money arriving into your bank account. Then you need to identify all your expenses and categorize them on your sheet. Have a look at the list I use to track all my expenses. You'll easily be able to add or remove these expenses based on what is relevant to you. How you would go about this is take 30 minutes once a week to add up all your expenses by looking at your bank statements. This will allow you to get all your monthly expenses. Then at the bottom of this spreadsheet, you'll notice that your savings amount in dollars along with the savings percentage based on your net income is listed. The savings amount at the end is the most important number in the sheet. You need to ensure that you are at least saving 10% of your net income at the start and trying to build your way towards the 20% mark. Initially, when you are starting this out, it may make you feel a little uneasy, as it will make you realize that you are spending way more money on dining out than what you had initially thought, or that your subscription services are eating up a significant portion of your income. At this step, knowledge is power. In month 1, just make sure you understand your 3 important numbers: your net income, your expenses, and your savings rate. Month 2 is to start saving 1 month of your expenses, which can be seen as a 1-month emergency fund. So in your first month, you would have figured out what this number is. For example, let's assume you spend $2,200 per month. Then you need to work towards saving this amount. I know this may seem like a lot, but once you achieve this, you will be in the top percentile of people with savings. 90% of people have less than $2,200 saved up in their account. Have a look at this image. It shows that almost 50% of Americans can't pay for an unexpected expense of $1,000. I believe that once you get into the habit and have the mentality of wanting to improve your finances, you'll be able to grow your wealth exponentially over the coming years. Savings may feel like a loss initially. You are not depriving yourself by saving, but rather buying your financial freedom sooner. For this one, focus on identifying expenses which you can cut back on, at least temporarily, which can allow you to save 1 month of your expenses within the next 3 months. And be honest with yourself. Don't use a stretched out timeline as an excuse to keep spending unnecessarily, because the faster you build this fund, the quicker you break free from the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. Moving on to month 3, paying off all your high interest rate debt. Not all debt are equal. Some are good debt and some are bad debt. Certain debts such as credit card debt will have a massive interest rate which can be anywhere from 20 to 30%. To start with cutting off your debt, rank your debt based on what you are being charged interest on them. For all debt that are higher than 8%, prioritize paying them off first, starting with the debt with the highest interest rate. How much should you pay towards your debt, you may ask? Well, you know based on month 1 how much you'll be saving every month. Then consider using as much money as possible to pay off your debt which are greater than 8%. Start off by paying off the largest one first. This will be your focus for this month, and it may take a couple of months to pay off depending on how large your debt is. And again, be honest with yourself, don't drag this out, pay it off as soon as you can. Moving on to month number 4, this is where we start saving money and investing it. The first priority will be to build up your emergency fund. You will already have started saving 1 month of your expenses from the second month I mentioned earlier in the video. Now continue building this fund up where you end up having at least 3 months of your expenses saved up, but ideally aim for 6 months worth of expenses. This emergency fund needs to be easily accessible but not too accessible. You need to be able to withdraw the money within 24 hours without incurring a penalty on it. Saving money is one thing, but investing it is another. You need to ensure that you invest your money because this is where the real growth in net worth really is. The ideal route to take would be to first focus on building a 3-month emergency fund. Then once that's achieved, then simultaneously contribute to your emergency fund and invest. The money you have left over at the end of the month, consider putting half of it into your emergency fund and half of it into investing. And once you have reached the 6-month worth of expenses in your emergency fund, then all your leftover money needs to be invested. Now you may ask where to invest it into. There's 3 steps to follow for this. Firstly, you need to make sure you max out your employer benefits. This is an easy form of making free money. If your employer offers a retirement match, you should take that with both hands as that's free money and a 100% return. If you skip this, you're leaving money on the table. Step number 2, open up a tax-free account. Every country will have their own form of tax-free investment, meaning that all your returns on the investment will be completely free of tax. You may not feel like this is a big deal, but consistently investing in this for decades can see massive returns, which are completely tax-free. If you stay in the United States, this investment will be called the Roth IRA. If you stay in the UK, this will be called the Stocks and Shares ISA. These accounts let you keep more of your gains instead of losing them to tax. And step 3, in this month, for 99% of people out there, the best, easiest and safest investment out there is to invest into index funds. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about this in detail on how to invest into index funds, then have a look at one of my older videos. I have attached it in the cards above and in the description box below. Month 5 is increasing your income. The first and easiest step to take would be to start exploring for better paying opportunities. Ask your boss for a pay rise. If that doesn't work, then consider applying for jobs in other companies. In most cases, switching jobs is the fastest way to increase your income. If you are underpaid or undervalued, don't just wait for your employer to notice. Make the move that benefits you. If you don't want to move jobs, then consider creating a side hustle, selling a skill or freelancing. An extra $200 or $300 can massively speed up your investments and grow your net worth. So that's month number 5. Then we are on to month number 6, which is to automate and optimize your finances. Have you ever heard of decision fatigue? It's a psychological phenomenon where the more choices we make in the day, the worse our decisions will be. And by the time we get to the end of the day, our brains will be so exhausted that we'll be making the easiest decisions for us. Whether that be eating out, skipping the gym, or just ignoring our finances. And that's why automation is one of the best decisions we can make for ourselves. When we rely on manual decisions for savings and investments, we leave room for inconsistency. Some months we'll be on top of it, and other months we will give it a skip altogether. So in this month, we are going to do 2 things. We are going to firstly automate your entire money system. You can automate all your monthly expenses such as your rent, your utilities, and other debts. By doing this, you'll avoid late fees and you'll be protecting your credit score, and more importantly, you'll have that one less decision to make. Then you want to automate your savings and investments. You want to automate transfers to your savings and investments accounts and your retirement fund. month. And you already know the amount you can transfer into these accounts because of the calculations you did in month 1 and 2. And the rest of the money left in your account is your spending money. By following this strategy, it makes budgeting effortless. The second thing you want to do in month 6 is to review and adjust your budget. Because your finances are never always the same, your salary will increase, your expenses will increase, your goals will change. Continuously check in with yourself and ask yourself if your automated savings and investments are still aligned with your goals. If your income has increased, figure out how much of that money you can invest rather than increasing your spendings. I hope you have found some value in this video. I post videos every Thursday without fail, so if you want to check out those videos, then consider subscribing to my channel. Until the next one, bye.